Peace and love, family and friends, naysayers, whomever. My name is Leon Wheeler Jr., and this is Master Making in Motion. In today's brief talk, change your conditions by changing your thoughts. Stop self-sabotaging. I'm going to share a story with you that I'm hoping will tie in how I was woke up, how I was awakened, how I came to a realization that hopefully can assist you. I started my prison bid in the winter of 1992. I found myself at Jackson quarantine on the third gallery, and it was a sight to see. Strange for a first timer in that situation. But seeing that I've been through so much at such a young age, being gunned down, and I was 28 at the time, so I've seen quite a bit. I had experienced quite a bit at that time, so I had already created in my mind that whatever scenario that uh, falls in my lap because of the lifestyle I was living, I'll accept it and do my best to deal with it. And that was my mindset. But Jackson was different. It was a little scary, but it was my reality. Something that I brought upon myself. Something that I don't want for none of my young brothers or my young sisters. It's not a life for uh, for growth. It's a stagnation. It's a it's someplace you definitely don't need to be. You don't want to be, and you don't need to be. So again, I found myself in Jackson. Creepy noises at night. Third gallery, dark, behind bars. I was caged next to a old con, uh, and the brother played chess. Prisoners, cons. That's what they preferred to be called at the time. They had a way of creating. We had a way of creating ways to maintain. We create different things to adapt to our conditions, and they was playing chess. They would call out the numbers and do their thing. He was talking to another seasoned brother, and they played chess every night for the most part. Brother didn't say much, but he breathed on me. He talked to me just by being who he was. Can't recall his name, but he was experienced. He had some time. He had been in the system, out, back in. I don't know how many times. But anyway, I went to classification after being there. I think I was there for a couple of months, about a month. I don't know what took so long for me in quarantine. I think it was about a month, yeah. And I ended up, when I got classified, they said that I was going to stay in Jackson. I was going to be behind the walls in Jackson. So quarantine is in Jackson, so I was going to be going across the street or whatever to another. Uh, I guess you would call it a pod, uh, another area in Jackson, at the north side, south side, and whatever. Uh, so I'm thought to myself, wow, man, this spooky place, these bars, these galleries. I don't know how many galleries it was. I think it was 4 galleries. It might have been more, but it was high, And it was again at nighttime. It was dark, so it was prisoners on the other side of the galleries. That's all you see is cells, and I couldn't see on the side of me nowhere. But I know what was next to me. Cells, just everywhere was cells. You had your toilet in your room, but you would go out to shower, to take you to the end of the gallery, and you would shower. So anyway, so they during quarantine, during classification, I was said I was going to be remaining at Jackson behind the wall. I thought, man, that's not good. So when I came back, I told the guy who was locking next to me what I had heard during classification. Uh, when they finally came to tell me that I was riding out, they come at night times, guard come in and he said, Wheeler, you're riding out in the morning. You're going to MR dorm. So that's a good thing, not Jackson. And I heard the brother the kind next to me said, damn, damn. I said, well, that's a good thing, and he said, no, it's not, man. He said, man, that's the old gladiator school, man. That's where I started my bit off when I was a youngster, man. He said, man, it's wild. He said, listen, as soon as you get off the bus, the first cat that say something slick to you, go in his mouth. Go in his mouth. And I'm saying, I'm thinking Jackson was, something to be terrified about. You saying now, so that kind of shook me for a second. But again, I'm ready for whatever because this is the reality that I've created for myself. I've been a badass. This is what comes with it. All of the pain and suffering. This is what comes with that lifestyle. Something that you don't have to go through. We don't have to go through that. And I hope that you don't. I hope that someone hear this and realize that this is not the life for a young king or a young brother who's striving or who has some desires. I don't care what your condition, this is not the life. But this is the life that I chose. And I had to deal with it. And I did. And I was willing to do it. So I made it to MR, and when I got off the bus, I seen it was, man, it was wild as I don't know what, man. It looked to me like juvie on steroids. I mean, it was wild. It was wild. So my first mind as a hustler, or a boss thinking individual, because like I said, I was in the game, so I've been regulating my own conditions for years. So I said, hey, I got to do what I do. I'm gonna put together a crew, and then I'm gonna survive and do what I have to do. Put together a crew, and that's what I did. I stayed at MR for about 6 months approximately, and they rolled me out. They sent me up north to to Earth. That's that's the cycle of the prison industrial complex. That's what they do. They ride you out from. I start calling it plantation to plantation. They call it institution to institution. That's what they do. They ride you out here, there, So I'm at up north at URF. Abbreviations that the prisoners, because it's a difference between the kind and the prisoners. The kinds was the old cats, who had a different mindset than this new time. And this is even newer time than the time that I went to prison in 92. This is a whole nother phase. But those old guys, like the one that was next to me in Jackson, they were cons. And we were more or less prisoners because we didn't think in the same. Unless you was, again, old school or, had been acclimated into that lifestyle to whatever extent. But they had a different mindset, you know. It's a different mindset in every generation, in every situation. So I'm there, and I see the going ons there, and before I went to prison, while fighting my case, uh, I was I was privileged to blessed to fight my case from the street, to be out on bond. It was extraordinary. It was a different scenario. Maybe I'll talk about it another time. But while out, I saw the movie Malcolm X 5 times. Why so many times? I was moved, and me being an individual who loved to share, uh, it moved me. So I was taking different people at different times to see the movie with me. It was giving me a reason to go back and see it. I took my son, I took my father. I can't recall who all I took, but I know I seen it about 5 times. And Malcolm motivated me. Malcolm inspired me. Even though I knew about Malcolm briefly through my uncle rather, mentioned him, and just hearing about him, but I didn't know him to the capacity that the movie highlighted for me. And he inspired me. He inspired me. He come from the same scenario, went to prison, changed his life, this, that, and other, became Muslim, uh, and I followed suit. So when I got to URF, I started paying attention to the Muslims that was there. They was a little different, and they carried themselves in a more dignified way. I met an old guy by the name of True, and you know that's what I was doing, looking for some people to, you know, to enlighten me, to educate me. Even though I put my crews together because I knew I might have to go to battle, but I was still. I'm always been a seeker, so I'm trying to find out, see if I can, learn something, whatever. So I talked to Troop, and I ended up going to service with him and checking him out. And the imam was a brother named Talib at the time, real radical brother, hell of a speaker. These are Orthodox Muslims, Sunni Muslims. So that's the. So my thought was to I guess sidestep the part of Malcolm's sojourn. Malcolm became a nation first, which to me I have so much respect for the nation as today. But the movie I guess highlighted that Malcolm was killed by the nation, so I decided to go straight to the Orthodox Muslims. So that's what I did, and from there I ended up going to. They wrote me out for a court case that was supposed to come up, and I ended up back in Jackson, this time in Cotton, for a small brief time, and I took my shahada there. That's when I became Muslim, and then from there, as soon as I got there, same mindset, put together a crew. So everywhere I went, I was putting together crews, building relationships with youngsters to infiltrate myself. To not infiltrate, to solidify, to put a force around me to whereas if I have a problem, I wouldn't be alone, that I'll be able to, have some backup. So that's what I did. Everywhere I went, I put together a crew. But, like I said, they was shipping me around like property, from plantation to plantation. So from there, I took my Shahada. In around 93, 94, I found myself at MCF. And, that yearning, that spirit that always been in me to be a revolutionary was always there. So I was always there. So at that time, I decided to take my education serious. I decided to start really that fire inside of me was saying, hey, it's time to, and the community there was really tight. It was a bunch of Muslims down there, Muslims, and it was a strong community. Probably almost 60 guys was going to service on a regular basis. MCF was a wide open spot, but for some reason, I had made up my mind that it was time for me to go to work on myself 100%. So I started going to school, and I was serious, but not serious. And I met a teacher. One of my teachers, a white woman. She hit me with something that was so so out cold. It stuck. It stuck with me. It hit me. She knocked the wind out of me, and she did it being so graceful that I'll never forget. We. She looked me in my eyes and she told me. She said, if you was to perform just half the way that you present yourself, just half the way. If you was perform, do the work, at least half of the way that you present yourself, you would be a bad guy. You would be a hell of a cat. And I'm saying to myself, that's something really slimy to say to somebody, something real slick, real educational. She hit me with a finesse. She hit me with a finesse blow. She hit me with a blow that she gut shot me. It was slick, but I noticed nobody in the room caught hold to it. Or if they did, they didn't pay attention. They was doing their own thing. But I wanted to cuss her out. I wanted to call out her name. I wanted to call her. But then the reality is, what she said was true. I know that's how I've been doing my whole life. My whole life. Uh, that's called sabotage, self-sabotage. That's what I've been doing. My whole life, I've been looking the part, but I wasn't living the part. And the moment my mental transformed, I changed the way I was thinking, my conditions changed. And I became a student, serious about learning. I started devouring books, reading, studying. I decided to turn my prison stay into my college, my learning institute. And I did. And I studied and studied and studied and again, eventually wrote my books. And in this book, I speak about an area where my mind shifted. And when I talk about the four levels of being a player in there. And when I was writing that, it hit me that, I actually saw the transformation and I put it in the book. And that wasn't even by design. It happened. The book was opening me up. But just learning and becoming a student, a lifelong student of learning and wanting to share the game, that became who, who, who I am, and who I choose to be. So if I said anything in today's message that hit home with you, tell me how you possibly been self-sabotaging yourself, or tell me how you, I guess, go around that. What motivates you to do what's right and to excel and be the best that you can be. Drop it in the comments. Tell me. Share that. Let's talk about it. And if you know somebody that possibly could use this information, I ask that you share it with them. I ask that you share it. And I'm sure you know somebody that's possibly could use this. And hit the like button. And subscribe to the channel. Also, don't never forget about my books. King, a master in the making, and code and ethics for up-and-coming players. You can get them at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. Great books, motivational books. And as always, be the example you want to see in the world. Simply be.